Hey guys, Lebanon here. Welcome. We are in for something exciting today. We're starting a new Let's Play. We're going to be playing Wing Commander Saga, for which I'm very excited. It's basically a mashup between two of the biggest names in space fighting. Actually, probably the two biggest names. Obviously, it's a Wing Commander game. Wing Commander is an older series. I believe the first game came out in 91 or 92 or something like that. There were 4 games in the official series and a number of spin-off games. But they've always been known for being really cinematic, really cool. I'm gonna get rid of the music for a second. I feel like it might be distracting, but they're known for being very cinematic and awesome. The game's always had branching storylines, which I don't think is in the case because I don't think the engine can handle it. But in terms of the engine, it's the Freespace 2 open source engine, which is almost definitely the best feeling space combat engine. So yeah, we've got a mashup between these two, and everything I've read about this game says that it's pretty brilliant. So I'm excited to see what's in store for us. Without terribly much further ado, we might as well get started. I apologize for the clicking that you hear in the background. I just realized that was happening. It's my headset. Not sure what I can do about it for now. I'm gonna try and figure out a solution in the near future. But let's go. Oh yeah, there's lots of really well done cinematics as well. To begin with, we're gonna start in, I think there's a 5 mission prologue / tutorial, so that's where we're gonna start. And then we'll jump into the main campaign, which is about 50 missions long.
Approaching nav 4, I've got 2
yeah.
sensor contacts on my scopes.
Let's watch the intro video.
Stay on my wing and we'll check them out.
I've got visual contact with 2 shuttles.
Confirmed. Stand by, Echo 2.
Inbound shuttles, this is Echo 1. Please identify yourselves.
This is Shuttle Bravo Sierra 80. Our little convoy is bringing you some new trainees.
Good, we've been expecting you.
Welcome to the Oberon system. It may not be the end of the universe, but I swear you can see it from here. But it's a good place to keep the rookies out of trouble. So, are these guys any better than the last batch you sent us?
That's for you fighter jockeys to decide. Me, I'm just a bus driver.
Yeah, well, we'll figure that out soon enough. I'm transferring nav data for the Wellington. Whenever you're ready, we'll take these kids to their new home.
Now, we are still talking about the Wellington, right? That's probably the first time in a few decades she's been referred to as new.
Well, she may not be state-of-the-art, but she gets the job done.
Incoming shuttle convoy, this is Wellington Control. Please identify yourselves.
Wellington Control, this is Shuttle Bravo Sierra 80 and Alpha Romeo 61, requesting permission for approach.
Shuttle Bravo Sierra 80, you are cleared for landing. Shuttle Alpha Romeo 61, give us a second to reset to ALCS and we'll bring you in. Welcome to the TCS Wellington.
Well, the Wellington is our new home. A little bit of background. We're in the middle of a 30 or 40 year war now with the Kilrathi, who are a feline race. It's not going very well, and we're a new recruit landing on the Wellington. The Confederation must be worse off than I thought. This is the rubbish the brass is letting in the cockpit now, bellowed a prim and polished-looking senior officer, pacing in front of the assembled young pilots. If any of you survive your first training exercise, I'll be at a loss for words, he continued. Second Lieutenant Markham found himself wondering what they had done to deserve this. No sooner had he and the 29 other freshly minted lieutenants from the Confederation's various officer candidate schools, programs, oh, this is terrible, No longer had they stepped off the shuttles, been called to attention, and heard the words "at ease," then what he could only assume was his new wing commander had launched into an obviously well-rehearsed tirade. Apparently David and his fellow graduates had not only pulled duty in what had to be the backwater to end all backwaters, that was the Oberon system, but it seemed that they would have the pleasure of serving under at least one superior with a planet-sized chip implanted firmly on his shoulders. The only thing the older officer needed was a riding crop, and he could easily have played the part of the cliché, hard-ass, arrogant, second-rate commander in every bad war holovid he had ever seen. "My name is Lieutenant Colonel Mitchell. I am regretfully your wing commander for the duration of your stay aboard this vessel," he continued. A grin spread across David's face, as the slight stress the older man placed on his rank and the insignia of a lieutenant colonel shining on his uniform betrayed what could be a partial reason for his sour attitude. "You've been placed under my charge on board this ship to better prepare you for the fight against the Kilrathi," he continued. "In the 35 years since the beginning of the war, the Confederation has never been in such dire need of well-trained pilots." "Then what the hell are we doing in this bucket of bolts?" whispered Thad Champ Cooper, the undisputed spoiled brat / jock of David's OCS training program. A few pilots within earshot snickered in agreement. David sighed as he took in the flight deck of the TCS Wellington, finding himself in the regrettable position of agreeing with his fellow pilot. The Yorktown-class carrier was nearly a century old, a throwback to the days before the war, when carriers were used mainly for light recon duty and space-to-planet ops. From what he could tell, from the non-existent paint job, missing access panels, and bare conduits, the ship could very well have been one of the first off the line. The newest heavy carriers in the Confederation fleet were generations more advanced, and even the existing attack carriers were refitted and updated with new technology. The Wellington and her sister ships were not so luckily, usually residing somewhere near the bottom of the upgrade and resupply list. This old girl appeared to have been just called out of mothballs, its decades-old equipment looking quite ancient when compared with the aerofighters undergoing maintenance. David's attention returned back to the superior as Mitchell stopped pacing. Over 700 pilots, a lot of them friends, fought and died valiantly in the battle for Earth. Pilots who were worth 10 of each of you. He suddenly spat out. He seemed himself surprised by the sudden outburst. After smoothing the front of his uniform and appearing to regain his composure, the wing commander of the Wellington resumed pacing, as well as his remarks. To fill the ranks, the brass has instituted drastic measures. The officer candidate school programs of academic institutions throughout the Confederation have been kicked into high gear. Your classes have been accelerated, and the usual flight schools and on-the-job training that was to be your next steps to truly becoming officers have been combined into a 2-month, if you'll pardon the term, crash course on board a Confederation naval vessel. Following that 2-month period, if anyone is left alive, officers will be permanently assigned to the front lines, where they will no doubt fight fiercely, but briefly. Oh, wow, this is really long. Yeah, I'm not going to read all of this, it'll take like an hour. I haven't actually read it all. Yeah. Blah blah blah. Basically, the war is going terrible. Our call sign is Sandman, short for Kitty Sandman. Our officer doesn't like that very much. Blah blah blah, old school, prove yourselves, what's blah blah blah. Yeah.
Good morning, newcomers.
Let's watch a video.
As you may know, my name is Major Boz. I'm the executive officer of this fighter wing and the squadron leader of the Diamondbacks. In case you didn't know, we're in the Oberon system of the Vega sector. Today, we will be doing basic flight training to understand the ins and outs of using your fighters, as well as covering some basic navigational skills. For this exercise, we will be flying the F-27 Arrow. The latest version of this versatile reconnaissance fighter interceptor was recently deployed to active duty, replacing both the Ferret and the Epi. It's light, fast, and maneuverable. Respect the Arrow, and the Arrow will respect you. If you recall the technical specifications, the Arrow can carry a large number of missiles. For this hop though, you won't have any. We wouldn't want any of you rookies to go around blowing yourself or your wingmen up, now would we? Sandman, Champ, and Panzer, I'm your instructor for this hop. You other newbies will have one of the Wellington's other veteran pilots as your trainer. Pilots, board your fighters and launch from the Wellington only after you have orders from your instructor. Sandman, Champ, and Panzer, don't touch anything in your cockpit before I tell you to. Dismissed.
Alright, let's go. Learning how to fly.
Alright, pilots, let's get started, shall we?
Yes, sir.
Affirmative.
I was born ready. Okay then. First we will exit the carrier's hangar bay before we review some basic controls. I have taken over control of your fighters for the moment. So sit back and relax. Wellington Control, we are ready.
We're
Request
in
permission
for a
to
nice
launch.
ride.
Lieutenant Bredazell here, Major. I will bring you home at the end of your workday. Be advised that we have other training wings active in the area. You are cleared for takeoff.
Alright. So here we go. Yeah, we don't have control of the ship yet, so we're just along for the ride.
I have returned the ship's controls
Aha,
back to you, Lieutenant.
there we go.
But I've also accessed your shipboard computers, and they will send you periodic messages.
T to cycle the target view.
Now, target my fighters, Lieutenants. Nothing more, nothing less.
Target acquired.
I have a strong lock, sir.
Okay, you got it. Keep me targeted. Now let's review some basic engine controls. But don't touch anything until I tell you to do so. Is this really necessary, sir? We've been over this 1,000 times.
Shut up, champ.
Not under my supervision, you haven't. And if you were going to fly my birds, I want to be absolutely certain you know what you are doing.
Alright. Increase the throttle, decrease the throttle. Full throttle, empty throttle. Square brackets 1 2/3. Alright. Tab for the afterburner. Whoa! Alright.
Understand those commands?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. During missions, if you forget any of the controls, the computer can give you a reference to all this stuff again.
Reference to all commands. Here we go. Let's just go back.
An additional command is the match speed order. Target my fighter, and then match my speed. Do this now.
So we're targeting and Alt-M to match speed.
Flight control is set to match speed, Major.
Good. Now follow my fighter. Be sure to stay close. Your ship will now match speed with every ship you have targeted, even hostiles, until you cancel it. This can be useful for tailing enemies without overshooting them and ending up in front of their guns.
Cool. Following Alpha 1. Have I followed you enough? I suppose not. Here we go. Where are we going?
Now, pilots, I want you to gain a real appreciation for exactly what your job is as a fighter pilot. Look around you. You are responsible for the safety of every one of these capital ships. We don't want you to sacrifice yourself needlessly. But if the situation requires, you are expected to give your life in defense of these ships. You are expendable. They are not.
Alright.
Yes, sir.
Son, sound a little intimidated, Sandman. It's a big job, but you won't be expected to do it alone. Just take care of your wingman, and he'll take care of you. That's the first rule of combat. Always watch your wingman 6. Your lives depend on it.
Did you hear that, Panzer? The Major just gave me the permission to keep an eye on your 6.
Not that you haven't been doing that all along.
Oh yeah.
Let's move on with our training, shall we? Select nav 1 and engage autopilot.
Alright.
Proceed to next waypoint.
Autopilot on. Really glad that they kept these autopilot sequences, if you ever played a Wing Commander game. As far as I know, every single one of them has basically the exact same
All clear. You
little
the
scene.
procedure to proceed to nav 2?
Anyway, I do remember.
Well then, punch it
Alt
again.
A!
Proceed to next waypoint.
Set course to nav 3. You getting the hang
I
of
think
this?
I can handle it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, hit it again.
Isn't this fun?
Proceed to next waypoint.
That's one of our corvettes. Be nice, will ya? Close up into formation with me.
Hey, Arrows! Nice to see a friendly face.
Same goes for you. How's it going?
We're on picket duty in this backwater system. The monotony tends to grind on you after a while. There's nothing here but space dust, asteroids, and boredom.
Well, as you can see, we've got a new gaggle of trainees. Maybe they can
Whoa.
lighten up your day.
So you want us to give them some authentic training?
Oh god.
Sure, why
That's
not?
much speed.
Lieutenants, I have switched your weapons to training mode, so damage and hits will only be simulated. Attack the Corvette and try to inflict hull damage greater than 90%. On the other hand, pilots, you'll each be considered eliminated if your own simulated integrity gets below 50%.
Alright.
Watch and learn, folks.
So, I guess, whoa. Alright. Taking on a frigate. Whoa. Alright. I think we won already. Have to burn out of there. Yeah, I thought we were supposed to get it down to 90%. Oh well. Ooh, that works better. A little evasive action. Alright,
We got it! My computer shows the Corvette should be
go
crippled
team.
now.
Oh, crap. Just got beaten by a wing of fleas. Looks like you've been training them good, Major. Anyways, we've checked your nav point back to the Wellington. Got a clear way home.
Roger that. Good job, Sandman. You handled that well.
Yeah.
Pilots, let's head course back to the Wellington.
Good job out there, David. Your game was right on.
You did great too, Angela. Thanks for having my back.
Aw, they like each
You're
other.
all right. Now let's get moving.
Let's go home.
Proceed to next waypoint.
Viking, how did your trainees do?
Not bad, sir. Not bad at all. Might make pilots out of them yet.
That's what they pay us for. TCS Wellington, what permission to land?
Finish taking the baby chicks out for a spin.
Of course. Now it's time to bring them home to roost. All right, lieutenants. This concludes our little trip. Go ahead and land. We'll meet at the
All right.
briefing.
Our first successful mission. I don't know how to roll. It doesn't seem to be bound to my keyboard just yet. But it looks like we're coming in decently well. Wow! Or not. Beautiful landing! Well done.
Good job out there, Sandman. You handled that arrow like an old pro, and you showed some leadership potential with your wing. Anyways, overall you did a good job out there today. We'll see if you can keep it up when the heavier training begins. Dismissed.
Alright. So, that's our first mission.